Yo, what's going on, everybody? Williams here with a brand new video for you guys today. Long time no see over here on the main channel. I know we have been uploading as much as we should be. I had a whole little goal and plan for the beginning of this year to get certain videos out, and no excuses. I just haven't been grinding the way I should be grinding. But we're back for the most part. We should have a number of videos coming out in relatively rapid succession. We'll see how the editing goes, but this video is a long time coming. I've been plotting it, scripting it, rewriting it for a while, and I finally got my thoughts where I feel we can do this video. The first thing I want to say as a disclaimer is, if you are someone who is anti-woke, has anti-woke views, someone who use brain dead phrases like DEI, you will not like this video, and I do not care. I am not your ally. Don't take anything I say, any of my videos, as a way of feeling like you are in a safe place. It's not a safe place for you. We don't want you around here. In this video, we'll be talking about gaming, movies, TVs, and just a general situation of people being anti-woke nowadays towards a media that's always been progressive. So to start things off, it's important we talk about the history of the term woke, as its history has been co-opted by incels and bigots to mean something it never did before. Woke is a term created by Black Americans in the 1930s, a word phrase used to bring awareness of social injustice and political issues affecting Black Americans. It was a code for being awake to your surroundings and how your fellow Blacks are being mistreated. The term in years started to be memed. Before that phrasing, meme was even a thing. In Black culture, you would have the Hotep archetype, who ended every conspiracy-related statement with, "Stay woke, my brother." Over time, being woke became less about social injustice for Black people and more a term for conspiracy theorists who wanted people to wake up and not be asleep to what the government is doing. But then there was another shift where woke became a sarcastic pejorative used by political right-leaning individuals. Make no mistake, its origins is something that goes as far back as the usage being Jamaican philosopher and activist Marcus Garvey, who wrote "Wake Up Ethiopia, Wake Up Africa" in 1923, which again points to why the term is and was so big in pro-African circles and Black political consciousness. It wasn't until around 2019 when the term became a sarcastic pejorative, many know it as today. A term that was used this way by people on the right to label wokeness as an insecure form of performative activism, or as British journalist Stephen Poole said, is meant to mock over-righteous liberalism. In a way, you can kind of look at modern use of the word as a right-leaning people protesting against liberal ideologies, but it's done in a way that isn't exactly meaningful, but more so to be against progressive thought and entertainment. Which brings us to why this video exists. Video games. Often nowadays we see games fail or get review bound for quote unquote being woke. Games where if they were released 10 years ago wouldn't be labeled as such and wouldn't fail for being progressive. Art is inherently progressive. That doesn't mean anti-progressive art doesn't exist, nor can't, but generally art is progressive. Most things we find entertainment from has always been born from a progressive thought. A lot of people who use terms like DEI, woke, etc. like to think entertainment being political, socially aware, diverse is new. It's something that is left-leaning and left-focusing. Reality is nothing new, and everything in entertainment has always been political, social awareness, inclusive, and push for diversity. The reason why nobody complained about it 15 years ago versus now is because a hive mind on the internet didn't tell you to complain about it 15 years ago. 15 years ago, you just watch what you wanted to watch, play what you want to play, and just enjoy whatever you're trying to enjoy. You weren't thinking about some kind of like subconscious thought process of, this is woke, this is progressive, we shouldn't like this. Disney didn't wake up one night and become a progressive company. They've been progressive longer than anyone watching this video has been alive. The 90s were filled with Disney Channel original movies where women were front center. People of color was front center. Movies like Cadet Kelly, Motocross, Double Team, Get a Clue, Jump In, Xenon, and many others, including films like The Color of Friendship. Even the TV shows all have episodes dedicated to social awareness, like season 1 of Boy Meets World. Episode 8 is about racism, an episode where Eric's girlfriend, who was of Asian ethnicity, was insulted at a local mall for her race. So Corey tries to get his classmates to understand the importance of the book Anne Frank and racism, even going as far to call his best friend a racial slur in a show to get him to wake up to racism. This was a common thing in the 90s for sitcoms to address social issues. You basically couldn't be an 80s to early 2000s sitcom if you didn't touch on these type of subjects. Again, it's not new. But even beyond race, nowadays we see such a shift in not wanting women as main leads in video games and movies when that was never an issue before. In the 90s and early 2000s, a huge portion of viewership of women-led content were men. Whether it was watching, Aliens films, Buffy Vampire Slayer, Dark Angel, Totally Spies, Powerpuff Girls, many of the previously mentioned Disney films, and of course, gaming, you have Perfect Dark, Tomb Raider, Metroid, and many others. When you take it all into consideration, it doesn't make sense that nowadays there's such a disdain for women as the main lead of video games and films. Sticking with films for a bit, a lot of the anger towards women is again a recency thing based on what grifting YouTubers tell their audience. You look at someone like Brie Larson. Brie Larson was a massively popular actress with men for a long period of time. Her song Black Sheep from a well-loved movie by men, Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, has over 12 million combined views on YouTube. And people just love Brie. But Brie has become an unpopular with men recently because she shared her political opinions, which were left-leaning. Now, when it comes to what her viewpoints were when it came to what she said, it was nothing crazy. She didn't insult anybody. She just wanted more women and people of color, including men of color, involved in the press. The internet took that and started telling people Brie Larson hates white men, which was weird because her significant other is a white man. See, the internet does this thing where if something or someone wants inclusion, it must mean it's anti-white men, though it was never that at all. The internet takes small things that are mentioned and turn them into bigger things that was never meant to be that way to begin with. They take a joke that was, just an offhand comment and turn it into a reason to hate a professional athlete. The anti-woke mindset is set around a lot of irrational anger, irrational fear, and irrational behavior that centers around just being a chronically online group of individuals who just need a father figure in their life or just need a hug. And they don't really have an outlet to get those things, so they just go to the internet and let Reddit or YouTube tell them what they should feel and what their opinion should be, and that the world's against them. The reason why their life sucks and the reason why their life is miserable is because of the internet being woke, and because games being woke, because TV being woke. It's none of that. First off, get therapy. Second off, none of these things, these entities of entertainment, is out to get you or to tell you that you shouldn't be a white man or just a man in general. These are all things people who are getting paid to tell you those things is doing to manipulate you. They want your money. They want your viewership. The best way to get that is to pander to a thought process that makes you watch their content, that drives your anger and makes you keep wanting to watch their content because you feel like this person's on the same page as you, so therefore I'm going to keep watching them because they provide me with a thought process that makes me feel better. Moving past that little mini rant, another celebrity whom randomly has hate is Rachel Zegler. Admittedly, I had no idea who she was until the drama around her and her movie Snow White happened. I had to Google what she was in, and she hasn't been in much, which explains why I wouldn't know who she is. I'd wager most people who hate her had no idea who she was until the internet told them to hate her. So, what has she done? Why do people hate her? Well, nothing but stand up for herself. You see, she gets a lot of hate on the internet. People talk shit about her, talk crap about her ethnicity, about her looks, about just anything involving her, they insult. And instead of just letting it happen, she responds and she claps back at people who hate her. Rachel is someone who not only stands up for herself, but like Brie Larson, is open about her political opinions. As she has openly talked about, the Palestine and Gaza situation and her support of Palestine, as well as she has openly taken, bad shots and bad comments towards the current president. So nothing to do with her actual acting ability or her acting career. Rachel gets a lot of hatred thrown her way, and the way the internet works right now is the audience is allowed to insult you, but you better not respond. That is generally how the internet works right now. If you are someone who isn't in a place of fame, you don't have to be famous, just someone who has any kind of influence, you cannot respond to people who insult you. That's how the internet kind of has this weird personality thing. That's not probably not the word to use, but just generally the internet feels like I can call you trash or call you these other words, but you better not say anything back to me. And it's weird because this happens in gaming as well. As I've seen people like APG, who's a professional Halo player, you know, he will get a lot of shit thrown his way, and he'll respond to people, and they'll be mad like, "Hey, you shouldn't say anything back to me." It's like, this is weird. You want to be able to insult people but not receive it in return. Like, what? At the same time, the audience wants to be allowed to, you know, be open about its political opinions. People who can't be open about their political opinions. You remember back in the day, when you say back in the day, it was a few years ago, where LeBron James made comments about his political views and things like that nature, and he got told to shut up and dribble. You know, and that's kind of like the thing that happens when it comes to people of fame is, if you're famous or an influencer, you can't have your opinions be public, but people who watch you, people who talk about you can. It's hypocritical. You know, this is the United States of America. You know, we're supposed to have, air quotes, free speech. Yet here we are trying to limit who has free speech. If you're famous, you can't have free speech because reasons. I can sit here and say all I want about politics, but if I was famous, that's a no-no. The hatred for Ziegler has gotten to a point where people made a picture of her having small back hair go viral. Why? Because it's just another thing to shit on her about. Shocker, women have hair. You can say what you want about her acting ability or inability. I've been watching her movies, so I can't tell you if she is or isn't a good actress. I can't tell you if she is or isn't a good singer, because she also apparently does music. But a lot of the things that happen with her, the hatred towards her, has nothing to do with her ability as an actor or a singer. You can call Snow White a miscast, but let's be honest, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who got casted in that position for that movie. And, you know, it likely still would do poorly, since all the live action Disney movies do poorly when it comes to the remakes. So if there's a track record of these being bad films, then that's just how it's going to be, a bad film. It's like expecting there to be a new Spider-Man movie from Sony that doesn't involve Spider-Man to be a good movie. It's like, oh, we had Craven, we had Madam Web, we had freaking, you know, Morbius. Surely this next movie will be good, right? Right? Cue the meme from like, you know, Padme and Anakin. So the reason for the hatred towards her is just politics, and the internet said, you gotta hate her. That's it. It's not because of what she got casted in. It's not because of anything other than politics, and the internet said, hey, let's not like her. Let's shift back to talk about gaming. Recently, a game called Split Fiction released, a game with a generally positive reviews and positive scores, made by developers of popular games A Way Out and It Takes Two. Split Fiction has been labeled by the usual suspects as another woke game, to which the director of the game responded with,
"Another feminism propaganda." So what the fuck is this? I guess that somebody are reacting that there are two women. Let me say this: in Brothers there were two guys, in A Way Out there were two guys, in It Takes Two there were one guy, one woman, and now there are two girls and everybody's complaining. Come on, man. I mean, let's face it, man. And it's also like based on my daughters. I don't care what you have between your legs. That's totally not interesting for me. Good characters is what's important.
Yosef isn't mincing words, and his comments is actually how most people in the real world react to comments about something being woke. If I told my aunts or my grandmother something is woke, they pretty much respond the same way. What are you talking about? This is strictly an online and social media thing. This isn't something that the entire world is experiencing. It's just, if you're someone who's chronically online and just intentionally looking for things to be angry about on the internet, this kind of dialogue exists. But out in the real world, no one talks like this. No one talks about things being woke or DEI. Matter of fact, again, most people don't even know what the word woke means. I was recently also on Facebook, and this lady had called something woke, and someone replied to her saying, "Do you even know what woke means?" And her response was, said it means people who are the adults living with their parents, who don't go outside, and that's it. That's all she said. She said it means adults who don't leave the house, live with their parents, and feel entitled. That was her opinion on what the word woke means. That's not what woke means. And frankly, if you ask most people who use the term woke, they will give you a different reason, the different definition on what it means, without it actually being what it originally meant when it came to Marcus Garvey and the usage by the Black Panther Party. And, you know, Asian Americans during the civil rights movement, when they joined in with Black Americans to want a better life, people of color. Then there's the whole Assassin's Creed drama. Oh boy. We'll skip past that one for the most part, because we've been there and done that, and you've all heard from other people about Assassin's Creed. I have my own review for it. Even that review, I'll probably only briefly talk about the drama around the game. The game has been successful, so cry. Yosuke is cleaning his katana with the weirdo tears. At the end of the day, what we learn is that the anti-woke crowd is just a hive mind that can't think for itself. They think things have only recently been political or progressive when it's always been. Star Wars has always been political. Star Trek has always been political. Mass Effect is literally Commander Shepard walking around being a diplomat to build peace between other nations, races, and genders, etc., to fight a common evil. Growing up, I had a teacher who had a saying. That saying is, everything in life is math, everything in life is science, everything in life is history, everything in life is politics. As an adult, I noticed that. He was telling the truth. Every day you use math. Every day you use science. Every day you use history. Every day you use politics. Every day you experience those things. It's just a natural part of human life. If you hate these forms of media, then stop pretty much watching everything. Stop playing every game. Just sit in a corner and stare at a wall. Because these things that the anti-woke mob claim to hate has always been around. Race hopping has always been a thing. Gender swapping has always been a thing. Celebrities having opinions too, and whether they are right or wrong is relevant. If we as people have the right to speak, so do they. A lot of y'all will probably think yourselves who are, a lot of people who are anti-woke would see yourself as like high intellectual people who love George Carlin, while George Carlin feels alive will call you an idiot. That's just the reality of it. You talk about, other comedians and how much you resonate with them, they would insult you. If George Carlin was still alive, like I said, he would call the anti-woke mob stupid. He would insult you and make fun of the entirety of what you believe in. But right now, y'all use his quotes and his videos to try to seem like y'all are on the same wavelength as him, when in reality, he's just as progressive as freaking Brie Larson. He's just as progressive as Rachel Zegler. If he was alive today, he'd probably be someone who supports Palestine. If you want to have like a comparison on what comedian right now is probably like the today's version of George Carlin, it's probably Bill Burr. The last thing I'll say is this: if you truly don't like something, pay no attention. When a game I have no interest in releases, I never pay attention. I don't sit on my live stream and talk about how bad it is or say horrible things about it. When a movie comes out, or a show, or a song that doesn't interest me, I keep it moving. That's how you should respond to something that you don't like, if you truly don't like it. Because if you don't care, you wouldn't acknowledge it. If someone says that, oh, I don't care if you're gay, lesbian, bisexual, whatever, just, don't throw it in my face. Practice what you preach. Don't care. But people who use that kind of like thought processing, that kind of phrasing, tend to be the first people to comment on Facebook when they see NFL player comes out as gay. No one told you to interact with that post. You choose that. When you see a game that has a black man as a lead and you get angry, no one told you to get angry. You chose to interact with that post and be angry. You choose what you do in life. You choose how to react to it. You choose what entertainment that you allow into your household. You can close the doors. You can close the blinds. You can turn off your TV. As Kendrick Lamar said, turn the TV off if you want to. But you're not. Why? Because you enjoy interacting in this negativity, freaking ranting and negativity of wanting to hate stuff because your life is miserable. You hate your life. And misery loves company. So you got to pull other people down who are enjoying themselves because that's what you feel like. Now you see people playing Assassin's Creed having a good ass time. You're like, hey, that didn't happen in real life. Hey, Yasuke was a retainer, not a samurai. Hey, that game's woke. Hey, Perfect Dark is gonna be woke. Hey, South Park's getting woke. Hey, Family Guy's getting woke. And people who are enjoying those things are like, whatever, dude, and go back to playing their game and watching their show. So you're ranting and doing these things about how woke something is, while people who aren't partaking and enjoying the content are just like, yeah, whatever, bruh. And it makes you angry, even more angry, because you're not getting the attention you want. You want people who are air quotes woke to be angry with you. In reality, they feel sorry for you. As well, I will say this as we close out the video. If it doesn't apply, let it fly. Meaning, if what I said today doesn't apply to you, then nothing I said is about you. If you took offense to anything I said in today's video, you might want to look in the mirror. You're probably part of the problem. I've been your boy, AnubisArchangel. Thank you all for watching. Hope you all have a good rest of your day. Stay safe. Be kind to one another. I'll catch you guys on the next one. I'm out of here. Deuces.